Oh, Vex, what's poppin'? So, what is your edge? I've been having this thought lately, and I've been hearing people talk about like having an edge in day trading, and for some reason, people seem to make it seem like you have to have all these crazy entries and these crazy risk rewards and all this stuff, and they seem to leave out things that are actual edges in trading. So, first off, if you had no edge, it would mean that you are just literally buying and selling in random places. So prices randomly wherever it is. I'm just gonna buy or sell here for no reason. That means you have no edge. If you have a strategy, you have edge. If you have a risk reward, you have edge. If you have risk management, you have edge. If you have psychology, these are all things that create an edge within trading to where this thing doesn't become gambling anymore. Okay. So your strategy, first off, everybody knows how I trade. Okay, I'm going with the time frame or with the direction on the higher time frames, support resistance, breaks or retest. That's how I trade, which I view as a very simplistic, very easy way to trade. Okay, now that's a edge. Having it be very simplistic and me not using 20 different indicators and all these different tools, that's an edge. I make it so simplistic. I'm in right now. I am in sales on UJ and NJ. Okay. And guess what? All I did was I said, okay, price is going down. Here's a level of resistance. I'm going to sell there. Boom. That was literally it. Same thing on NJ. Price is going down. Here's a level of resistance. I'm going to sell. That was literally it. Okay. That's as simplistic as it is. I think that's an edge. That creates an edge for me because I'm not sitting here spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes on one pair overcomplicating things. The other thing is that I have confirmations. Okay, prices go in a certain direction on the higher time frames, which means it's more likely to actually be a solid direction and continue in that direction. And then I have support and resistance. Okay, it's not a lot, but it's enough, and it's how I win trades. Okay, now the psychology. I've never heard anybody say that this is an edge in day trading, but it is. How would it not be the most powerful edge that we have? Controlling your patience and your delayed gratification and the fear of loss and the anger and the anxiety and all these different things that go in to trading and taking trades, how would that not be an edge? It's the biggest edge that you could possibly have. Being able to control all those emotions when you're taking these trades, and that's what trading preys upon. In my opinion, it's, let me put it in with this. In my opinion, it's 95% emotional and 5% technical. Okay, 95-5. It's 95% emotional. If you can control all of your emotions, that's the best edge that you'll ever have. And then the risk reward. Okay, first of all, right now I'm experimenting with one to ones. This is why I wrote simplicity down. I'm going back to one to ones and just experimenting and seeing how I feel with a one to one versus a two to one or any of those other ones. It's simplistic. Okay, this is why I wrote this down. It's simplistic. Okay, it's just basic. It's a one to one. I risk one to get one. It's very basic. It's not forcing anything that's not there. It's not like I'm sitting here trying to get sniper entries so I can get my 1 to 3 or my 1 to 5 or my 1 to 2 or anything like that. Has a higher win rate. The same thing, the same way that doing something like a 2 to 1 has a higher win rate, or a 5 to 1 has a higher win rate, or a 4 to 1, or a 10 to 1. They all have higher win rates, which can help you psychologically. The other thing that I've been realizing recently, which I've had a few guys in the chat talk about, is the probabilities, man. Understanding the probabilities of what we have. If you are taking a 10 to 1, the probabilities of you winning that trade, combining it with your strategy and psychology, is probably 97 to 98%. You take a 2 to 1, it's probably 70 to 75. Okay, you take a 5 to 1, it's probably 90, 88, 91, 92. You take a 1 to 1, it's probably about 55, 60. Okay, you take a 1 to 3, it's probably 27, 28. Okay, if you go into every single trade understanding the probabilities of how it's probably going to play out, I think that's probably one of the biggest keys to success. Okay, I think understanding that if you take 1 to 1s, you're probably only going to really win on average across the board in a year 100 trade. I mean, 55% of your trades. So if I take 100 trades, okay, that's really good. 55 wins, 45 losses, okay. If I risked 1% to gain 1%, that's 10%. What if I risk 5%? That's 55% gain in a year, okay. Now, to a lot of people, it might not seem a lot, right? But if you have a $10,000 account, okay, that's $550. It's not a lot of money. If you have $100,000 account, though, okay, that's wait, is that right? That's not. Is that right? Hold on. That's retarded. I knew that was wrong. $5,000. Okay. If you have $100,000 account, guess what? It's $55,000. If you have a $500,000 account, that's 260 something $1,000. Okay. I think the reason why people freak out a lot and why they want to have something that wins so much and something where they can just flip their accounts is because they don't have a lot of capital. But if we have access to these capitals because of prop firms, I'm not saying that you're going to be risking 5%. Of course you wouldn't. They have rules. You can't do that. But if you are able to make 10% in a year on a $500, that's $50,000. Okay. 50. What if you're able to make 20%? 30. What if you're able to risk like maybe 2 or 3% per trade? You can consistently duplicate a 55% win rate with a 1-to-1. What if you can consistently duplicate a 75% win rate with a 2-to-1? What if you can duplicate, a 90% win rate with a 5-to-1? What if you can do all that? It'll all end up right around the same amount, right? I think people are searching for something that, is there. Of course, there is crazy high win rate strategies and all that shit, but is it necessary? No. Is it a lot more difficult than what I do? Of course. It's a lot more difficult. It's a lot harder. It takes a lot more time. Um, I think people are searching for something that is not necessary. So if you combine all of these things together, your strategy, keep it as simplistic as you can. Find something that fits your personality, of course. So whether that's scalping or swing trading or intraday trading, but it also has to fit your schedule. And then dumb it down as much as you can. Find a risk reward that works the best for that strategy, and then try to master your psychology. Is it even possible to master psychology? I don't know. Probably not. It's fucking hard. But do that. Combine these three different things together. And then the biggest thing that I've learned recently, the biggest thing that I've learned this year through backtesting risk reward constantly is understanding the probabilities of risk reward, because you're not going to win every single trade. What I used to do is I used to go into all these different strategies that I used to figure out by myself, and I would take the risk rewards and take the trades and all that, and I would lose 2-3 times in a row and say, you know what, this doesn't work, or I can improve it. So I would change it. And then I would just do other shit constantly because I just wanted to constantly improve it, because I thought that I should never be losing and there was something wrong with me if I was losing. Now I go into trades and I'm like, bro, I don't care if I lose. I understand the probabilities behind the strategy that I've backtested and having control of my psychology, and the risk reward that I'm using is just a simple math equation. I understand the probabilities that I have of being profitable in the long run if I continue doing this. I don't give a fuck if I lose. Who cares? Right? If I'm taking 2-to-1s, bro, probably I'll win at least 70% of the time, if not 75 to 80. If I'm taking 1-to-1s, I'll probably win 55% of the time, if not 60 or higher. Okay? And if there's down months or down weeks, fine. That it's part of the game. Understanding the probabilities, I think, is the biggest thing that you could possibly do. And then you go on the charts. You just duplicate it. And you say, oh, okay, well, price is trending up. Okay, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to look for levels of support to buy at. Okay, well, it created a level of support right here and created another one right here and broke or retested right here and broke and retested right here and created a level of support right there, or broke or retested, broke and retested. Okay, create a level of support right there and created another one right there. Okay, well, I mean, that looks pretty basic and pretty simplistic. It just looks like I'm just identifying, just like in the last video I made, just identifying levels that are rejected. You don't even have to pay attention to candlesticks. You're just looking for overall big levels that have rejected. I mean, that seems pretty basic, right? Pretty simplistic, right? Just going along with the flow, going along with the trend. Price is going up, it's support. Price is going down, it's resistance. That's it. Not forcing anything that doesn't have to be there. Not making stop losses too small. Like this situation, you would have got stopped. But if you have it at a good distance below the low, you're fine. You don't have to worry about getting stopped out. And then it flips and you start going the opposite side. Then it starts consolidating. And if it is kind of your style, you can catch the back and forth trades. Look at all of these back and forths, bouncing back and forth over and over and over until it finally breaks out and then starts continuing in the opposite direction. That's as simplistic as it can be. I'm not going down and saying, oh, I think a morning star is about to happen, so I'm going to buy, or the EMA is flipping over. I don't give a fuck. I just buy or sell off of these levels depending on which way the market is going. And then what I think that gives is I think that gives me a slight edge of winning the trade. That gives me a slight edge of winning the trade, combining that with the risk reward that already gives me this certain amount of probability of winning the trade. And then that's how you become profitable. And if you can do all of that while controlling your psychology, I think that's how you become profitable. And I think that's the edge. These are all edges. There's not one edge that you have to have one edge, which is what I hear people say. I don't think that's it. I think everything that you do is an edge. If you enter randomly, you have no edge. You have a strategy, psychology, risk reward, risk management, all these different things. They're all edges. They're all something that you have controlled and worked on. So it gives you a better chance of being profitable in the market, which is an edge, right? So that's it for the video, man. OFX out.